Hello, everybody. This is the Young Stoic, and we're back today with another video. Uh, we're gonna be talking about like filtering your impulses, which is something we've been talking about the last couple of days. But we're just gonna go into it with a bit more detail. You can see it's just a bit of a change of scenery. I'm back at my dorm room right now. So this is probably what you're gonna be seeing for the next long while. Next couple, well, maybe like the next month, and then we might be back to my room. But we also have a special guest. This is Nathan. He's my roommate.
Hello.
Yeah, he's great. And yeah, so without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So, okay, so we'll start off with the quote, and then since the quote is pretty short, we'll just move on to the explanation. So this is coming from Marcus Aurelius' Meditations. Don't be bounced around, but submit every impulse to the claims of justice and protect your clear conviction in every appearance. Think of the manic... Okay, now the explanation. Think of the manic people in your life. Not the ones suffering from an unfortunate disorder, but the ones whose lives and choices are in disorder. Everything is soaring highs or crushing lows. The day is either amazing or awful. Aren't those people exhausting? Don't you wish they just had a filter through which they could test the good impulses versus the bad ones? There is such a filter: justice, reason, philosophy. If there's a central message of Stoic thought, it's this: impulses of all kinds are going to come, and your work is to control them, like bringing a dog to heel. Put more simply, think before you act. Ask, who is in control here? What principles are guiding me? Okay, so this specific chapter is pretty central to Stoic philosophy, and yeah, I would say that this controlling your like impulses is one of the most important things you can accomplish in life, and like getting good at knowing which things you need to filter is really like it's really optimal, I guess. I don't know if optimal is the right word, but it's really what you should do, because I mean, and now that I think about it, it's not about thinking like controlling which impulses. You really need to you really need to control all of them, because even if it's positive, like, because at the end of the day, you don't really know, you can't ever know which impulses are going to be positive and which are negative. Like, you might think that your desire to like make money is good or something, but that could lead you down a path of greed, and it could lead you down a path of destruction. So that's just something you always have to watch out for. So it's not really something that like you're not going to really ever be able to tell which impulses are good and bad from the start. So you're just going to have to filter them. So yeah, one thing I want to say, one thing that my mom always, a saying that my mom always said is, you should never make a decision on a good day or a bad day. And that ties in a lot with this. It's basically saying like, you should never, if you're having a bad day, then your decision making is going to be swayed. You're going to be less optimistic. You're going to be just more depressed. Your judgment's going to be clouded. But making decisions on a good day could make you more risky, because like you think that everything's going to be okay, and you're not always going to like take the risks into account, which is just another way of saying you're going to act really risky. So yeah, you should just always make sure that you're controlling and judging which things are good from a neutral perspective. Yeah, like, I really can't emphasize this enough, but your mind and your heart, like, I don't know if you guys do, I don't know, like, this is just wisdom from the Bible, but I think it applies to basically every religion, and the Bible says a lot of times that the heart is deceitful. And I think that's true for a lot of reasons. Like, some people think that the heart and its desires are always going to be totally, like, some people have this woo-woo idea that of the heart and spirituality, where, like, it's almost like your heart and soul and body will always lead you down the right path, and it's like they'll tell you to just trust your body and, like, what your body's telling you. And it's like, you should do that to a certain extent, but you should always use your judgment to make sure that what you're doing is actually right. So that's all I have to comment about, like, society's perspective about it. Yeah, and this is just generally a good way to avoid what's it called, bipolarism. And, like, not even like okay, so there's, like, actual, like, clinical bipolarism where it's actually a psychological disorder, where you actually have, like, imbalances in your brain that cause you to feel, like, high one day and like, utterly suicidal, depressed the next day. And then there's just, like, you having a chaotic world, which is like, you being, like, you could be really thrown around. And this goes back to what was said earlier in the book, which is, like, being a puppet on strings, where you're just being pulled around one way and the other by the world. You're not, you want to have control. I mean, in reality, everybody wants to have control over their lives, and you want to have control over as many things as possible. That starts with having control over your mind. I mean, it should start with having control over your mind. And you're not going to have control over your mind if you're constantly being pulled one way or the other by these impulses that can either make your day or break your day. So yeah, this is just one way to, like, by judging impulse impulse. And, like, it might sound daunting, but it's not like every single thing you want to do, like, from getting a glass of water, you have to, like, put through this philosophical lens or something like that. But, just, like, the important things, at least, start with the important things, like life decisions and like the people you hang out with and the actions you take. Make sure you always put them through that filter, because it will end up with you making better decisions, and that will end up giving you a better life. Okay, I'm gonna borrow my roommate's whiteboard so I can show you something which I think is pretty good. I hope he doesn't mind. We'll see. So basically, if you live your life on highs and lows, your life's gonna, it's probably gonna go like, this. This is how it's gonna go. I got it. Okay. You can see that it can be higher, but slowly your happiness is gonna be going down. So these waves are like you being happy, and these dips are you being sad. But over time, the happiness is gonna get lower. If, however, you live a life of sound judgment, these graphs aren't perfect, but I think they illustrate the point. If you live a life of sound judgment, your life, it may not have as great highs, but over time, you're gonna have much better, you're gonna have a net positive gain of happiness, and that's what you want in life. So, yeah, unfortunately, I was planning on asking my roommate's opinion on any of this, but he's not here. He's showering right now. We just got back from skiing, and snowboarding. So, yeah. So, I hope you guys got some good wisdom from this. If you guys have any kind of input or something or ways of controlling your impulses you want to talk about in the comments, then feel free to do that. Okay, another thing I want to talk about before we close off is this concept that I learned from this guy on YouTube called Call Ram, I think. I'll double check what his name is and put it in the description, but it's something like that. I'm gonna make another graph. I really like this whiteboard. It's very useful. And it will best illustrate this because he used it in a video, and I'm gonna borrow this idea from him. So basically, okay, how should I do this? Okay, actually, it's not gonna be a graph. It's gonna be just a drawing. Okay, so okay, so imagine this is a hill, right? You're walking across this hill. Let's say you're like Sisyphus, for example, except in this case you're rolling a stone down a hill, and let's say you're rolling a stone in front of you. At which point would it be easiest to stop the stone from rolling? It probably actually, I'll change this a bit. These real-time edits. Okay. At which point would it be easiest to stop the stone from rolling? It's not going to be here because it's not going to be here because at this point the stone's already gaining momentum. It's definitely not going to be here because this stone has already gained so much momentum, and which means that it's probably going to be around here because it's like the stone is not going to have its own momentum. It's not going to be being pulled down by gravity. It's just going to be able to stop if you stop it. And this applies a lot to our thoughts and our actions. The sooner we take action to stop negative thoughts, then the better, the more likely we are to succeed in stopping them. Because the more we engage in bad behaviors, the easier it becomes to just keep on engaging in them. I talked a bit about in the video about anxiety that the longer you stay in stressful situations, the more comfortable you will become with them. Now, this doesn't only apply. That can be a good thing because it can make you more accustom you to stressful situations, but this concept can also be a bad thing because in bad situations or when you engage in bad habits, the further you get down the hill, the harder it is to stop. And this is because you become so accustomed to it. It becomes normal. And this isn't the case with all bad things, but it's the case with a good many of them. So yeah, this is just something to remember, that the best time to stop is now. It's not later on. Yeah. So like this is the case for like a lot of bad behaviors, like gluttony, laziness, lust, I don't know if envy is, or pride, but well, I would say pride is. The more proud you get, I would say, the easier it is to stay proud. Um, yeah, but there's a lot of bad habits that just get worse the more you do them. And this isn't to like strike fear into you. It's just to say that, hey, you should. The best time to stop is now. And don't worry, there is hope, because good behaviors. This also applies to good behaviors like humility, and loving others. It's like the more you do it, the easier it becomes, and the more benefits you gain from it. So yeah, don't worry, there's always that fact. So I've talked for long enough. It's kind of been more a rambly video, bit less direct. But again, if you guys have any thoughts, put them in the comments below. We might see Nathan again in the next video. However, not sure. Maybe not. We'll see though. So without further ado, steady your impulses. The best time to quit is now. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you in the next video, and if I don't, then have a good life. Goodbye.